What's up, guys? I wanted to do a comparison between Apple and Android's navigation system. So come take a drive with me and let's get started. So pardon my ghetto setup here, where I'm actually on the road and we're going to be testing out the navigation, so it may be a little loud and I also apologize for that. The first thing that we're going to look at is how both devices handle navigation instructions. Now, on Google's side, we have a dedicated navigation app which integrates really well with Google Maps, and on iOS there's just Maps, and you would have to go into Maps in order to get into navigation. So let's go ahead and load iOS first on Maps. Let me go ahead and shift this over here to do the orientation. Now I've already entered an address so that it'll make things a lot faster and not lag the video. So I'm going to go ahead and hit start and we'll go from there. Obviously, before you do anything, you would have to enter an address in order to do the navigation process, which it does require a few steps, and it's not as easy as it is on the Google side. But let's go ahead and jump right into navigation over here on Google, and you'll notice that it's a little bit different. You can speak the navigation. For example, I want to go to Disneyland, like navigate to Disneyland, and it would automatically work. I can type in my destination, similar like how I would do over here. I can push on go home, and then that would also take me to my house. It's already programmed in there, and I could also look at the map. Now, because this has a recent history, or as they call it, recent destinations, which is really nice, I can look at my recent histories of places that I've been. And I'm going to go ahead and do the same address, and since I've already entered it, it will be in here, which again is a very nice, convenient feature. And we're going to take a look at how both devices handle navigation and what you can expect. So the first thing you'll notice is that immediately this is telling me about how many miles, 19 miles and 22 minutes. On iOS side, it doesn't really give you that information while you drive. So even here, it's telling me that I have 22 minutes left, and if you notice, there's a green indicator letting me know that the traffic conditions are great. If it would turn red or yellow, that means that if it was yellow, it would mean that it might hit a little bit of traffic, and of course if it was red, it would mean that I'm going to hit traffic. And I must say that this is very accurate. Now both devices show how many miles are left between. For example, I have to jump on the 710 south. So this is telling me that there's 4.2 miles. Now this is kind of personal opinion, but more obtrusive since it's right there dead center, whereas on the Google side it's just kind of up on the top, not really bothering you as far as like your view. So once again, guys, this is going to be a personal preference. I'm going to try and give you my an objective view on this, even though of course this is a review, so it's always going to be biased. But anyhow, so both are telling me that in 3.6 miles I have to jump on the 710. Now let's look at some of the features you have here on iOS. So when I tap on the screen, I can either turn off 3D mode, which will kind of give you an overhead view. I'm not sure if I like that view, and you see there's a little bit of stutter there, kind of catching up, so that could throw you off. Let me see. You can sort of pinch to zoom so you have more view, but again, and I don't know if you can get rid of this, that 3 miles is really getting in the way, and I have to say that's annoying. If Apple, you're watching this video, if you can sort of make this not so obtrusive, it would be really nice. This looks phenomenal. It's not in your face. Let's go ahead and turn 3D view back on, and let's look at what type of things that you can get. So here I can look at the route overview. I can also see the direction. So for example, I have 7 miles left to go on to the 710, and then it kind of gives me a directions list. Let's go ahead and hit done. And then pretty much after that, you don't have much to do other than, let's click on overview. Sorry about that. And that just gives me a quick overview of where I'm at and where I'm going. And once again, let's click on this, and it's basically the same thing. So not too much information other than basic stuff. Let's go ahead and hit resume. And let's take a look at now how, that's interesting. just kind of seeing the directions there. Let's take a look at now what Google has to offer, or Android. Now you'll notice here that we have a menu, and you can do route and alternate route. So this is kind of nice. So for example, if I wanted to go somewhere and avoid highways, I can just check mark that. And believe me, I've done this with toll roads. There's been a couple times where I've driven somewhere and I want to avoid toll roads, especially heading up to Irvine. Sometimes I don't need to do that, so I can go ahead and check mark that. Let me go ahead and hit back. There's also, similar to what you saw over here, there's a directions list. So you are able to see, and very clean format, you're able to see what type of directions you have left for your little journey. Let's go ahead, and one thing to know as I'm driving here, or not driving, but as I'm here in the passenger, is that you'll notice that you can see a lot of the streets. For example, orange, and you are able to see them over here, but it looks a lot different because you can actually see the street name and you know, oh, that's Orange Street. Whereas over here, you kind of don't, it's very difficult to, as you're driving, I can imagine, to really pinpoint, oh, that's a street, where here, it's just a lot more clear. Let's go back to that menu that I was showing you. I've turned voice off on both of them. You just have to turn that down. I can also get additional layers of information. So for example, I can look at traffic view over here and see how everything is going. And I was pretty sure that you can do it over here, but for whatever reason, maybe I have to do it this way. No? I think that's only in the maps part of it, not the actual navigation part. Yeah, I believe that's what it is. When you're actually in maps, you are able to see traffic view, which I'll tell you right now, I've used it and there's no traffic view at all. I'll show you guys more over here on what you can do. Let's go ahead and check mark more. You can also do, for example, let me check settings here. I have it on screen dimming. Oh, that was nice. That kind of helped, that little bridge. Screen dimming. So when you check mark this, which is really nice, it dims the screen so that it saves battery. Now, I'll put it here so you guys can see what it says. It says screen dims between instructions, okay? So basically, as you're driving down the highway, it's going to dim the screen, and as you're ready to go, let's say in 1 mile, you're gonna make a right, the screen powers back on to its full intensity, or to its original setting that you had. I didn't finish telling you guys about this. One more thing, I don't know if you guys noticed, it says Long Beach right there, Long Beach Freeway. It is telling me that I am on the Long Beach Freeway. So for what it's worth, that's just useful information from a navigation point of view. So let's go ahead and, like I said, there's also route and alternates, which I kind of briefly went into, and I'm going to go ahead and show you guys. Here I can specify if there's an alternate route, maybe especially right now on the Long Beach Freeway. This freeway, sometimes it's gets pretty crazy. So let's see if there's any alternate routes, and sometimes it'll specify if there are alternate routes or not. I'm not sure if there's any. Looks like there's not. So I'm going to try that again when there is a better route. And with iOS, just so you know, you can also pick alternate routes, but you're going to have to do it when you first set up the navigation part. So right before it navigates, it's telling you what route you want to take. You can't really change it on the fly. Whereas here, if you see an accident, you can pretty much go here without having to type all that information and say, okay, let's see if there's a better route. So my pilot was telling me that, and this is interesting because it's saying that there's 12 minutes and 7.3 miles remaining. Now over here, it's saying that there's 10 minutes remaining. So what he was also telling me is that taking Ocean Boulevard is not the right way to go. This is actually more accurate over here, which is probably why you see the time difference in 12 minutes versus 10 minutes. So just a little food for thought there. And I just realized that it does tell you the time remaining up there. Just probably because it's really hard to see. Let's go ahead and see what happens, and I'll come back in a mile. Let's take a look at where we're at here. So it looks like both devices now are in sync as far as where we need to go in 2.5 miles. And this is saying to, yeah, pretty much the same now. 9 minutes and 9 minutes. So it looks like both of them are now together in sync. And let's take a look at the information. What do you guys think? Which one looks better? Which one do you think is presenting better information and is easier to use? You can notice the water there. Just kind of take a peek over here, give you guys a little view. Look at that, look at the docks. Nice, beautiful day. Okay, let's go back over here. So, what do you guys think? Let me know which one you think is better. Clearly this has a lot more options, but I'll tell you what, this is not bad. This is not bad at all. It does need some work, but it's not as, the navigation part is not as bad as the maps. Navigation's actually pretty decent on this, and for being the first year that Apple has released, I have to admit that the navigation is actually pretty well. Of course, this has had many more years to better and improve itself, so it may just be time where Apple can just add those additional features and other features that probably won't be seen over here, and we'll touch base once we get to our destination. So this is a pretty nice feature on iOS, is that it's letting you know that in 0.2 miles you're going to make a right, but then you're going to make an immediate left. And if you notice on the map side now, you can't really tell because this thing's in the way. Now it's kind of obvious that you would see it here versus over there.
Right onto West 7th
So
Street.
we're almost at our destination. We have approximately 2 minutes left, and that's what both of them are saying, 2 minutes. So once we arrive, we will come back.
Turn left onto South Beacon Street, then the destination is on your right.
Turn left onto South Beacon Street. Then
In
your
450
destination will be on
feet,
the right.
the destination is on your right.
Now Siri has a robotic voice. I don't know if you guys can tell. And on the Google, it's more of a natural human voice. Now we're almost there to our destination, so let's...
Your destination is on the right.
One of the nice things that it gives you a street view. And look at that. That's that up there. You can kind of point and then you can see, oh, look at that. I've arrived.
South Beacon Street.
So this is the location there. So this is very, very convenient. And you can also show you right now, street view. And I can see where I'm at. Look at that. That is one of the huge things on Android that probably won't ever match on iOS, just because Google has spent tons of money investing in cars and whatnot to go out and capture these types of scenery. So pretty much here, you don't know where you're at. You just hope that you got to the right place. And this is the building, this is the corner, and this is it. A little side note, nothing to do with the navigation, is Field Trip. If you guys haven't checked that app out, make sure you do. And this is kind of nice. It gives you information of where you're at. It randomly pops up. Let me go ahead and move this over here. So for example here, San Pedro City Hall, and it kind of gives you information, and you can give it like a thumbs up, thumbs down. This is really nice. Little side note for you Android guys out there. I've learned a lot about different cities, and as a matter of fact, the other day I found a place where they filmed American Pie, and it was kind of neat. So now when I saw the movie, I told myself, oh, I've been there. Really cool.
So what did you guys think? Apple Maps, or iOS 6 Maps, whatever you want to call it, is not that bad, but it's not that great either. It's lacking a lot of features. It's not as polished as Google Maps, and quite frankly, if you own an iPhone, I would completely forget about it and just download Waze. Waze is a much more polished navigation app and actually works really, really well, so don't feel discouraged. Anyhow guys, if you guys like my videos, please subscribe to my channels. New videos every week. Let your friends and family know about this channel if they like technology. If you want to follow me on Twitter and Google+, I've left those links below. Anyhow guys, thanks for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Adios.